3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another On the Block NFL show. So we call it NFL show and On the Block breakdown of NFL preview. Joey Fafari, we have Rob Stone, and of course we have Igor Henriquez. Joey, you can take it away.
All right, guys, I wanted to start off with, I told a few of you guys, every week what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a survivor pick that we're going to give. We're going to tally this up. So we can't pick the same team twice. The team just has to win. So we'll go around the table with that for week 2. And then what we'll do is we'll go through all of the games. Most of us will be making picks on the games. And at the end of the show, we're going to give 5 picks, which we love, which we call our locks. So I'll get back into my week 2. So I was telling you guys that with the survivor pool, a lot of luck is needed. And as the teams run out as the season goes on, it's going to be really tough if you're taking teams like Tampa Bay, Kansas City all in the first week, and then you run into a lot of problems going down. So my strategy going through it this week is kind of rotate a favorite and then also take a game that's maybe a 50-50. And I was on my toes all Thursday night because I ended up taking the Redskins, who they got me excited and I was really worried, and they ended up pulling it out last second. And that's what football and what betting is all about. So with that being said, I'm going to throw to, let's go Igor first. Give me your survivor pick of the week, and then we'll go around the table and we'll come back and get it to spread. Igor, take it away.
For survivor pick of the week, I'm taking the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football against Detroit. I can't see them going 0-2. Detroit is terrible, and I'm assuming Rodgers will get his revenge in week 2.
Fair enough, Rob.
I'm going to go with Cleveland for the exact same reasons that Igor said, but also we talked about this on the pod. It feels like Cleveland and Baker Mayfield pick on bad teams. And so whenever they play a bad team, I feel like Cleveland's going to be a really good bet this season.
Nice pick, Brandon.
I was going to say Cleveland as well, but I'm going to go Tampa Bay. Doesn't matter. They're playing the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are going to fall right in their face. It's fine. We'll catch up throughout the next few weeks, but Tom's going to have another good game. And it's in Tampa as well, too. So I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, even though I already made my pick in my actual league when I took the Thursday nighter, I'm going to go on with the Chargers this week. I love what they're doing. I think that they have the best O-line in the league. I love that, the quarterback's getting a lot of time to throw a ball at Herbert. Mike Williams looks like an absolute stud. We already knew that. Keenan Allen, they have a lot of weapons. Home game for them. I know it's not really a home game because they don't have very many fans, but I'm going to take them in that one. That being said, let's get into spreads. Brandon, we'll stick with you. First game of the week is going to be New England and the Jets. Quick sentence on who you like.
I'm going to go with Patriots right here. Of course, Belichick. His record against rookie quarterbacks is astounding. I believe he's 8-0 in the past 3 or 4 years. I'm going to go with the Patriots for sure. They're going to cover the spread, and, of course, they're going to, I think, pretty much topple the Jets.
Pats by 6. Igor, who do you like?
I'm actually again, I'm a Pats fan, but I think these division games are always close. Again, a bad Pats loss last week with Harris fumbling near the end of the game that cost them the game. I think the Pats will win the game, but the Jets it's a 6-point spread. I think it'll be more of around a field goal game, so I'll take the Jets to actually cover the spread at home.
And Rob.
Yeah, I really like – I was with Brandon. The one thing that I'm worried about is this line's a little bit inflated because I think everybody's saying the same thing. Bill against rookie quarterbacks is just – he eats them for breakfast. But I would still lean New England.
I'm going to go with New England too. Looking at this game, I know that when Rex Ryan was there, the Jets always put up a fight. I just think that the Pats are going to go in there when you guys talked about the record there with Belichick against the rookies. I'm going to take the Pats as well with the 6. Rob, we'll stick with you there because next game we have here is Denver, your squad going against Jacksonville. Denver coming off that win against the Jets, and Jacksonville, tough loss against the Texans. We have Denver by 6.5.
Yeah, so I'm staying away from this game because this was either Denver or pass for me, and I can't take Denver. There's a stat. Road teams in week 1 and 2 for the last 6 years, not counting last year because COVID was with no fans, they were 2-17 against the spread, and Denver falls in that category. So I try to stay away from teams. Denver's in that spot. There's a few other teams that we'll talk about later, but it was either Denver or pass for me. Jacksonville played really bad last week, which means it could be a bounce back game. So I just said, forget it. I'm going to just pass on this game.
Fair enough, Brandon.
I don't think, I'm going to stay away from this game as well, too. 6 points is a lot of points, I believe, for this particular game. So I'm staying away from it, but I do see Denver still beating Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Yeah, fair enough. If you guys don't like the spread, you don't love the game, pick a winner, pick a total, or you can just pass. No obligation.
Okay.
So Brandon's going to take what was the pick against him?
Denver
Denver
Broncos
by 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Igor.
Yeah, this is definitely a game that I won't be like locking in all that much either on any tickets. But considering how bad Jacksonville played last week against Houston, and Rob's stat is definitely a good one there as well. But that Jacksonville team looks so out of sorts, and the Denver defense is quite good. And it's only a touchdown spread. I think I'll take Denver in the 6.5 on this one.
I'm big on spreads and numbers, and not even so much the matchups. That's how I've made my little money in gambling. And I don't think Denver's going to cover 2 weeks in a row on the road. They've been a home team forever. The defense is good. I think that asking them to win 2 road games in a row is a lot, even though Jacksonville's terrible. That being said, going to go Jacksonville plus the 6.5. Next game,
Jacksonville,
Buffalo,
wow.
we have them either 3.5 or 4 plus a 6.5. They just got to cover, keep it within touchdown. Buffalo's going to go to Miami. I have it at 4. You might have it at 3.5. Let's keep it at 4, and Igor will throw to you first.
Yeah, I think this is a big must-win game for the Bills. I think if they go 0-2 and Miami starts off 2-0, it's already a big hole in the division. I think Buffalo's going to be hungry to win this game. I think Buffalo's the better team. So I'm taking them with the points in Miami.
Brandon,
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think Brian Flores is going to have a really good pretty much play, but just he's going to be prepared for this game as well too. But I'm going to go with Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen has to have a bounce back game. Stephon Diggs, I believe Zach Moss is out, so Montgomery's going to a lot of more of the touches. I'm going to go with the Bills, and they're going to cover. You say 4 points. I'm at 3.5, but yeah, I'll take them for the points. They're going to cover.
Rob.
Yeah, I'm with these guys. I have a couple of things, though, is that Miami A is tough at home. It's the second hardest home field advantage in September. The spread is slightly big. If you flip this number, that means that they're saying Buffalo is a 6.5 point favorite on a neutral, given the 3-point home field, maybe even 3.5. It's a little bit of a big number. Buffalo has won the last 5, and it is a must-win game for Buffalo, who played poorly last week, and Miami got a win last week. So I like to kind of fade teams that play well and play on teams that play bad, especially good teams that play bad. So I'm also going to take Buffalo. I think the number is slightly high. I would have loved to get it at 2.5 here at least, but I still will stick with Buffalo and the boys.
I love Miami here, guys. The humidity is going to be a lot.
It's
Buffalo,
100 degrees.
I think a lot of people last week, the survivor pick or whatever it was, like that 6.5 with Pittsburgh last week was inflated. And we saw that later in the game. They weren't moving the ball too well against one of the best defenses in the league. Miami's no slouch. Jalen Waddle looked incredible last week. I think that they're going to keep it at least within a field goal. I think they might sneak out the win here. I'll take Miami. Rob, let's go to San Fran because I know that you've talked about them a lot. So we're going to have San Fran and Kyle Shanahan there going at Philly. And they're 3-point favorites on the road again. Second road game and second favorite on the road. Who do you like?
I'm going to take Philly here. Philly's going to be the sharp side. A lot of squares are going to be playing San Fran. They played pretty well. They're going to see 41 points last week against Detroit and be like, yeah, San Fran played well, but there was that little comeback. San Fran also falls into my Denver stat of road games in the first 2 weeks. Last week was a Midwest game, and these are West Coast teams. So we have San Fran traveling in the Midwest, going home, now traveling back to the East Coast for an early morning.
I heard they're staying on the East Coast. I can't confirm, but that's what I heard. They never went back. Yeah.
Either way, then that's 10 days on the road or 7 days on the road. I don't like it. I tend to stay away from this. Philly was very impressive last week. I don't think Atlanta might not be as bad as we think. So the side here is Philly or pass. I'm taking Philly.
All right, Brandon.
I'm the same. I'm the exact same. Once again, definitely the West Coast kind of trip, but I think Philly's definitely going to come out there. I think the Philly's going to win this and kind of big. They're probably going to be slouched. I don't know what it is, but Sirianni. I think they're going to have a good game against these 49ers, and I think I'm going to take Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles to pretty much take the points.
Igor.
So I'm actually going on the other end of things. I think a lot of this is a little bit of a reactionary line to what Philly did to a really bad Atlanta team last week. I think San Fran, besides the really bad slip-ups at the end, should have beat Detroit by probably 2 touchdowns. So I'm actually taking San Fran in this game. I do have a little bit of fear of that West Coast situation, like the boys mentioned. But overall, I think that San Fran is the better team. And when you're getting a field goal line, I think I'd have to go with that. You got to pick the better team, and I think Philly is a little bit of a reactionary line because of that beating they laid on Atlanta. So, but I'm taking San Fran and the 3 points.
I heard that apparently Sirianni had these guys crying in the change room. He was asking guys for hugs, and everybody
Yeah.
was shedding some tears.
Yeah.
I think that Philly here is just they're the healthier team. They're at home. I'm still a Jalen Hurts fan. I think people are sleeping on him, and I think that in the early weeks of the season is really where you make your money. If you can figure out what teams are for real and what teams are not. San Fran is definitely for real. Second road game on a row, a favorite again. I'm going to stick with Philly here. I think that they're going to win the game, just like Brandon said. I think teams are going to be in for a surprise. San Fran has a lot of injuries still. That being said, let's move to the next game. Rams at Indy. I have Rams by 4.5. Igor, we'll start with you.
So yeah, this is an interesting game because I don't think the Rams played decently well against Chicago, but they definitely had some issues in terms of stopping the run and things like that. So it could be a big game for Jonathan Taylor for Indy, but 4.5 in Indianapolis. I'm gonna lean on Indy covering the spread. I think the Rams will win the game, but I would have liked to see that spread a little bit, maybe in the 2.5 range, maybe 3, but I think 4.5 might be a little much. So I'll take Indy to cover.
Rob.
I'm loving these picks. You guys, these are sharp picks. Like, yeah, the Rams are so square here. Like, at that number 3.5, it's a slightly, maybe a little bit inflated, but Indy's the side here. I was looking at stats. Betting, there's 71% of the action is on the Rams, and anybody knows you get into the 70 to 80% range. Anybody who's been betting a long time, anytime that bet the other way. Especially you hit 80-20. There's an 80-20 rule. When you hit 80% of the actions on one side, you take the 20%. So yeah, Indy is the sharp side here. I'm going to stick with Indy on this one.
Brandon.
I honestly think 3.5 points is too much for Indy, but I think they can cover it, and I was actually leaning towards. I thought I was going to be the only one taking Indy. I'm taking Indy to win this game, and actually cover the spread. No, actually, I'm taking Indy to cover the spread. Of course, the Rams win the game, but it'll be a close game.
There you go.
That's what I meant.
I'm not gonna lie, I have the Rams going into this. I still think they're gonna win, but I will take. You know what? I'm gonna stick with the Rams. I'll go with the Rams at the 4 or whatever it is. I just think that defensive line, they're just gonna give a really good offensive line in Indy, maybe some fits that they're not used to, and I just think that Rob, I was talking with you about this last week. Cooper Kupp looked absolutely incredible last week. I know he's coming off another injury, but him and Woods, they look really good. The tight end there is very good too. I think they're going to control this game. Indy has to win, but I think we're going to find out very quickly early in the season that the AFC South is not good, and it might be worse than we thought it was. We're going to move on to Vegas, traveling to Pittsburgh. Terrible towel season, and we have Pittsburgh by 6.5. Rob, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh covering the spread. The D's dominant. I've talked about how I'm going to basically play Pittsburgh in the first half. They're a bit of an older team. Last week, the Raiders played well on Monday night, and whenever you have an average to below average team that plays well, it's like the good team that plays bad. I like to play them. I like to fade the average teams that play good. So Oakland off an emotional game. Short week also that does not play in their favor. Early morning West Coast team going east or Midwest, and for that reason, I'm going to take Pittsburgh to cover a little bit of a big, little bit more points than I want to swallow, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
Igor.
Yeah, I think Vegas is coming off a short week. No Josh Jacobs in the game will affect the running game. I think the Pittsburgh D is on a real big high. They went into Buffalo last week and pulled off a win that not many people thought they could actually pull off. Again, they're the offense sort of clicked a little bit more in the second half than the first. It's a nice 6.5 number. I'll take Pittsburgh at home to beat Vegas in that situation.
And Brandon.
Yeah, I'm taking. Oh boy, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers will cover the spread at all because, of course, they played really well. Defense played really well against Lamar Jackson. Ben Roethlisberger cannot run 40 times in 2 minutes, so it's gonna be a back and forth game. But I do think Pittsburgh will win, but they won't cover the spread.
I'm going to go with Brandon there. I think that Vegas's defensive ends there, they're really good. And when you have an immobile quarterback like Ben, barely able to put one foot in front of the other, I think it's going to be a bit of a problem. I love Pittsburgh's defense, but I think that Pittsburgh wins, Vegas covers the spread. Brandon, let's go to you because we got the Bengals going to Chicago. It's 2 or 3 depending on what it is. Rob,
2.5, yeah.
2.5? Okay.
2.5, yeah.
Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, I'm okay. I think this is disrespectful from Vegas to actually do this. I think the Bengals are going to go into Soldier Field. They're going to dominate. They're going to cover the spread, of course, and they're going to flip these guys in their head. I know Chicago Bears a little bit older defense, but I do think Joe Burrow's playing really well. The offense is playing really well. They're going to go in there and they're going to shock a lot of people. And plus Matt Nagy, so bad luck.
Yeah. How can we forget Matt Nagy?
There we go. They're taking the Bengals.
Igor.
Well, I mean, this is probably, and obviously Brandon's a little bit biased because he's got his Bengals fandom hat on. But you know what? It doesn't. The spread based off of what you saw last week doesn't make. I mean, I thought it was going to be a little bit higher up for the Bengals, but I mean, Chicago is a tough place to play. Over there at Soldier Field. But looking at what I saw from both teams, and again, I think I threw out that Andy Dalton stat early on. He just doesn't win many games whatsoever, and the Bengals are looking like they're clicking on all cylinders. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover the spread.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm going to take Chicago here. I'm not a big fan of Cincy's O-line, and I think Chicago's got a decent front four, front seven. So Cincy was really good last week, Chicago really bad. I'm going to kind of play that game. And then it's a win-win for me because if Chicago wins, they cover. If Chicago loses, then I get to hate Matt Nagy, and then I'm into the Brandon and Igor train. So win-win for me taking Chicago here.
Originally, I liked Cincinnati. I'm going to flip the switch here and go Chicago. And I think that's only because if Chicago does not win this game, I took a look at their schedule, and other than Detroit, they might not win a game for the rest of the season. So I'm going to go with Chicago to win this game. I'll take Chicago by the 2.5 there. And guys, let's move on to the Browns. Rob, we'll stick with you because I know that you picked them as your survivor team. So 12.5, I have them at home against Houston. And like you said, they do typically beat up on, subpar teams, but 12.5 points. Do you like it?
It's for me too many points. I'll never lay that many points. It's outrageous. I steer clear of bad spreads. Big spreads. But Cleveland does beat up bad teams. So if you are into playing big spreads, I think this is a game to take the big spread. If I had to pick, I would pass this game. But if I had to pick, I would take Cleveland to cover it. But it's super square to take, big numbers like that. But at home, coming off a loss, I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a big game. So if you had to play something, I would say Cleveland is the play on this.
All right, Brandon?
I'm right with Rob. I think that's way too many points for them to actually cover. And one thing, too, Baker Mayfield does play down this competition. The Browns do play down the competition. Play a really good team to try to play up. It's kind of like the Raptors, but just in the NFL. So I'm going to take them not to cover the spread. I think it's way too many points, but I do see them win this game.
And Igor?
Yeah, I mean, I think Houston shocked a lot of people last week with the game in Jacksonville. I'm also on the same train where I hate taking spreads that are in the double-digit points. It usually leads to catastrophe because it's basically a situation where a turnover or anything that happens untoward pretty much kills the game off. Again, I won't be playing a lot of this, but if I had to, I probably would take Houston. They probably go in there with a little bit more confident. I think Cleveland will win the game, but I think Houston will probably do enough to make it relatively interesting, even though Cleveland is probably better on both sides of the ball.
Brandon, you had Houston, right?
No, I had the Browns.
Oh, you had the Browns by 12. Okay, 12.5. Okay. I'm going to stick with Igor. I'm going to go Houston. And guys, shocker of the week, I would not be – well, I know a lot of people will. I think Houston might somehow pull this off. Their defense last week looked really good. I know it was a rookie quarterback. We've seen Cleveland not look great. They don't beat up on too many teams, although they win. Easy pick for me against the spread. I'm going to go Houston. And same thing. When I see those big spreads, I tend to stay away from them. They don't cover too often.
I meant to say I took Houston, but of course, Browns will win the game. Sorry.
Okay. Guys, go to New Orleans. New Orleans came off a laugher going against Green Bay last week on a neutral field. I have New Orleans by 4 traveling to Carolina against McCaffrey. Brandon, we'll go to you. Let me know what you think about Jameis and the guys.
I think last week was kind of an anomaly. I think they're going to have it's going to be more of a closer game. I'm not going to take the Saints to cover the spread. I just think Jameis is going to have a game where he's going to pretty much struggle. He's going to struggle. He's going to have his difficulty. So I'm going to take Carolina to actually with the spread, but I'm going to take New Orleans to probably win the game. But it's going to be really tough. I'm not going to take New Orleans to cover.
Igor.
Yeah, I thought New Orleans, again, they did a number on Aaron Rodgers in that Green Bay offense. They were pretty much playing in Jacksonville last week, so they were pretty much on the road there anyways. I don't think that this Carolina team is all that good. I know Christian McCaffrey is incredible, and they got a couple decent wide receivers, but that Saints defense is for real. And I think they're going to give I saw enough of Sam Darnold in the AFC East where he's always like looking at seeing shadows and ghosts and whatever else. So I think that Saints defense will do enough that they'll cover that 4 points.
And Rob.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brandon here. I think Carolina covers. Fade Jameis. I'm trying to make I'm trying to kind of make a point here, but a lot of New Orleans COVID issues in the upper management. Probably not going to matter, but I'm going to bring it up because it influences my point. But if I had to play, I would take Carolina here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Carolina by 4. To me, it's a fishy spread. Whenever I see a line that is a little bit fishy, and I think that this is going to be a big public bet for New Orleans. Carolina didn't look good last week, escaping against the Jets. I know that Zach threw some late. He had some yardage, but the numbers weren't great. I'm going to go with Carolina. I think that they might pull off an upset this week, to be honest. I think New Orleans is probably going to finish with 11 wins or 10 wins, but I think they might end up dropping an early one this week. Let's move on to Minnesota, who looked absolutely terrible last week. And then traveling to Arizona, who, might have been the best-looking team in week 1. And Brandon, we'll start off with you. 4.5.
I think you're saying that just because they beat your beloved Titans. But at the same time, yeah, I'm going to take Arizona, of course, to cover the spread and then some. I do think Kyler Murray and those guys get up to another hot start. They need to continue this because their MO is playing really well in the start of the season and then, of course, collapsing later on. So I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals of covering the spread, and Kyler's going to have another great game.
You know what? I don't even like the Cards. Brandon, I'm going to make you a Cards believer by the end of the season, by the way that this is going. Because I think that Murray last year, I think that a lot of people knew it, and there was reports, and he just wasn't the same. He got hit too many times. If he stays healthy, his team might win the division. Rob, make your pick.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. That's a hot pick. Sorry.
J.J. Watt thinks it's 2015, man.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going with the West team, man. The West is back. I mean, AFC and NFC West 8-0 last week, winning. So the West is loaded right now across the board. And again, Minnesota falls into the road team in both weeks 1 and 2, 2-17. So I'm going to play numbers here. I'm going to take Arizona.
Igor.
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite pick of the week. I think that Minnesota will play better than what they did. They have the offensive weapons, in Thielen, Jefferson, and Cook. But I think Arizona's right now on another level. I love what Chandler Jones did last week. Sorry, Joey. I know it was against their Titans, but they're playing really well on both ends of the ball. And at 4.5, I love that number. I'm definitely taking Arizona.
I love Arizona, and that's why it scares me, because I think everybody loves Arizona. And I had Arizona marked down. I did a few 12-gamers I might have to rip up early. But you know what? I'll just stick with Arizona. I have a feeling that Minnesota might surprise us, even because it makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense that the line is 4.5. I think that the line should probably be 7. But for the sake of it, I'll stick with the Cards at 4.5. Igor, we'll stick with you. Tom Brady and the Bucks, 13 points. I have them at Atlanta, a team that looked really good, that escaped against a high-powered Dallas offense, going against Atlanta, who couldn't have looked any worse. Who do you like?
Well, it's those division games, high in numbers. This kind of it falls into the same situation sort of as the Browns, except it isn't the Browns game isn't a division game. But I don't like to take the 13.5. I think that the Bucks could definitely blow them out. I do. I won't be betting the game, but if I had to, I probably would take Tampa to beat them by 2 touchdowns, because I just don't see any redeeming qualities right now. I mean, I love Calvin Ridley on the Falcons, but their defense is so bad they won't be able to keep up, in my opinion, with the Buccaneers.
I had you penciled down for Atlanta after that first sentence. I had to cross it over right down. Brandon, go ahead.
Once again, these spreads are. I'm not going to bet in it. Obviously, it's not something that's going to give me anything, but I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover this spread. I'm going to take that. I think that defense is awful, god awful. Tom Brady's going to go. I just think Tom Brady's going to have a great game. That defense is obviously going to play lights out. Matt Ryan's going to be on the floor a lot more than he's standing up. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why not?
Yep, Rob.
I hate betting on Atlanta. Again, I stay away. Big spread.
You got to stick to your rule then. Bet against Atlanta.
No, I'm actually going against it, where I don't think Atlanta's where Atlanta shouldn't cover, they cover. So this is a game where big spread. Matty Ryan, I think he's gonna somehow look like vintage Matty Ryan from the year he went to the Super Bowl. I also have another wild, crazy stat. A week 1 home favorite on the road in week 2 are 60% against the spread. and Atlanta falls into
Wow.
that category. There's a few teams that
Wow.
fall in that category. So I'll play the numbers here. It's a big spread,
And that's
60%.
usually an inflated number based on the logic you gave there, right? You disappoint at home, you go on the
Yes.
road, and usually you cover. You probably lose, but you cover.
Right.
I don't really like the big spreads either, but I'm going to go with Tampa here. Logic just tells me that Tampa Bay's defense is going to be way too much for that Atlanta line, and Matt Ryan running around. I think they're probably going to double team Ridley, have a safety there, and I don't know where you're going to get offense from because Pitts as a first year tight end, I had high hopes, but he'll probably struggle out the gate, and they'll get him going maybe in the second year. Let's go on to the Titans. Guys, we've talked about it too much. They look terrible in week one. Traveling to Seattle in the 12th man there. Russell Wilson looked incredible. They're not throwing the ball as much as they used to, which is a good sign for him and the rest of the team that they're actually moving the ball with the running game. Brandon, let's go to you. Seattle 6.5 at home to Tennessee.
I'm gonna take the Titans. I'm gonna take the Titans in this game. I'm not to win the game. I'm gonna take the Seahawks actually to win. I don't think they're gonna cover the spread, but it's tough. Like they had to win against Arizona. Now you're going back. Now you're going to Seattle. It's gonna be tough, but I don't see the Seattle Seahawks covering the spread. I'm gonna take Titans and not prop bet, but we'll pretty much go over there. But Seahawks will win the game.
I'm taking the Titans. I think it's going to be a redemption thing. He
was waiting for you.
They seem to have the situation where every time they have a really bad game, they would bounce back quite well. I think that Henry's going to be will have a much better game running the ball. And then Seattle's defense last year wasn't all that great, so I think it'll be a high-scoring game, and I'm going to take the Titans to cover the number.
And Rob?
Tennessee also falls in the home 1 week favorite on the road in week 2, so 60%. This one was really tough for me because I thought Seattle was an easy play last week. Seattle seems to squeak out these games somehow. Russell Wilson. The number's a little bit big for me, so I would lean Tennessee. But I think I'm with Brandon. I think Seattle's going to win this game. I think it's going to be kind of like a Russell Wilson magic 3-point wins. Just what Russell Wilson and Seattle does, they just squeak out these wins.
I know that the coach Vrabel there ended up reaming out Julio Jones last week, which to me was a good sign because nobody's not going to be accountable. He had a bad penalty last week. Team was atrocious. DK and AJ, Ole Miss guys. I think that there's going to be both teams to be fired up to play this one. I'm going to have to go with the Titans. Usually I probably wouldn't like them. I don't usually take them as dogs, but this is a game that they have to win, not cover the spread. They need to win this game to get some gain in the AFC South. I'm going to take them, to be honest, probably to win and shock some people. So Dallas is going to the Chargers, and the Chargers 3.5. There might be some overreaction here just because Dallas was so close. I feel like if they would have got slapped in week 1, it probably would have been 6 or 7. But the spread is kind of low. Are you guys liking this buy low on the Chargers at 3.5? Rob, will go to you.
I'm like I'm surprised. I thought that a lot of the sharps would be on Dallas, but they're all over the Chargers. So the Chargers are the sharp play. However, I've got Dallas here. I think this could be an upset for a few reasons. I got the Chargers had a big win last week in basically Justin Herbert's first road game with fans. So Dallas had extra rest. They played on a Thursday nighter. The Chargers don't really have a fan base, so this could actually end up being like a home game for Dallas at SoFi there. And Dallas does fall into the road teams for both week 1 and 2, who are 2-17. However, the other 3 teams that are in that category, Denver I have not covering, Minnesota I have not covering, San Fran I have not covering. So I'm going to say Dallas is the 1-4 that covers this week. So I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to take Dallas.
Okay, Igor.
Yeah, I mean, at 3.5, looking at that number, I'm leaning toward the Cowboys as well. I think if the line was a little bit smaller, I might lean toward the Chargers, but I think it'll be a toss-up 3-point game one way or the other, and that extra half point kind of sways me to take the Cowboys. I thought, you know what, they could have and had opportunities to actually beat the Buccaneers in that home opener, and Dak looked really good. I'll give him credit. You know me, I'm not a Cowboys guy whatsoever. But I got to give him credit. I think, Ezekiel Elliott had a terrible game, but he'll bounce back. I think the Cowboys will cover the 3.5.
All right, Brandon.
I agree with everything you guys just said, especially what Rob said as well too. Like I think it's an overreaction. I think Dallas should have probably been favored in this game. Dak's going to play really well, and it's going to be a Cowboys game because they have no fans. So I'm definitely leaning towards the Cowboys in this one.
Few points I have, guys. When the Cowboys play at home, does it really matter either? The past few years, they have all the fans.
Yeah, both fans.
I think that Justin Herbert is going to have all day to throw. DeMarcus Lawrence is out. Like I said, I keep saying the Chargers O-line looks incredible. When you give Herbert that much time with all those weapons, I think that Dallas might have a reality check this week. I think they're going to be decent going forward the season. But I'm going to have the Chargers, and to be honest, I have them big this week.
Wow.
All right, Sunday nighter. Chiefs escaped last week with obviously some magic from Patty Mahomes. They're going against Lamar Jackson. I saw a stat that I think it was against all of the top quarterbacks. I don't remember exactly the names, but the younger guys. Patty Mahomes hasn't lost. Now the spread's 4.5 going to Baltimore, which we've talked about numerous times that they're beat up with injuries. So the spread's 4.5. I'm going to go back to Brandon. You let me know two of your favorite quarterbacks. Who do you like in this one?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs covering this. Of course, Patty Mahomes goes 1-2. Every single quarterback he plays, like these guys got picked in front of me, whatever. So of course not the same draft, but I'm gonna say Casey's gonna go in there, cover the spread, and it's gonna be one of those games similar to what they had when they had the Monday nighter, I believe last year or the year before, I believe it was last year, and just dominated them. Marlon Humphrey looked like a shell of himself. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to cover this.
Rob?
And I'm with Brandon, and I was thinking of that exact game where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be cute. I'm gonna go with Baltimore, small spread, and so I'm not gonna make that mistake again. I'm gonna take KC here. Baltimore, I would say, is even worse this year, given that they have no running backs. I like Lamar. I like Lamar's ability to be the running back along with the quarterback, but it's just too. I think it's just too much for the kid to kind of overcome. So. How often do you see Casey only laying 3.5? When I get these chances, I'm now going to take them. I'm going to take Casey, take the points, or 4.5, whatever it is.
All right, and Igor?
Yeah, I'm with the guys. I think it's a small spread. Baltimore's significantly beat up. Latavius Murray at running back, Williams also there as well. But I don't think that they'll be able to keep track, especially again, secondary injuries as well. I think Kelsey and Hill might have a field day as well. So I'm taking KC to cover because, like I said, I don't think Baltimore can keep up points wise.
I like Baltimore here, and I think that obviously Kansas City, I think, is going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a field goal game either way. And I think that whenever it's going to, just like all the primetime games we've seen so far, it's gone down really to a last-second field goal. And obviously Kansas City's the better team here. I still have questions about their defense. I think we will, to be honest, for all of Mahomes' tenure, because nothing's really changed there. I know that Honey Badger was out last week. Apparently he was clear with the COVID stuff, but he's supposed to be back. I'm not the biggest Lamar Jackson fan. I've said that from day one. And it would not having a running back is really going to, increase his workload early in the season, which I don't love. I think they have to settle that position somehow, get someone. But I'm going to take Baltimore plus the 4.5 there.
Wow.
Guys, we're going to the Monday nighter here. Detroit, who came back late, looked terrible. Going to Green Bay. And we talked about this. We can spend some more time on this one. This is really how we're going to gauge, I think, Rodgers and the Pack this season, because we can give them a pass for last week. They got embarrassed. They showed zero fight, didn't score a touchdown, scored 3 points. They're at home, Lambeau Field, against a perennial bottom house team in that division, the NFC North, and the Detroit Lions. Rob, we're going to go to you because it's your guy, Rodgers. Who do you like by the 11 points?
I love that I have no idea what this guy is thinking. I don't know. Did you see the pictures of him on the sideline? Like he was just at a cottage. Let me ask you something, because in the NFL, I'm going to let some people in. There's neutral motivation, minimum motivation, maximum motivation. Do we know what his motivation is this year? Do we even know if he wants to? I think it could be we don't know. He could be trying to orchestrate a trade out of there where he's like, I just wanted to get paid. I'm going to play so bad that you get rid of me. I don't know what to make of this line because I hate Detroit. I hate their coach. I hate everything about Detroit. But if I had to play a side here, I'm going to take them because I just have to. I don't trust, again, big numbers. I don't trust Aaron. But really, if Green Bay were to win by 30, I wouldn't be surprised. I have no expectations for this game. It's a stay-away game. I feel bad for the Monday night bettors that are trying to get out of the hole from Sunday because you are just going to basically be playing a lottery ticket.
You literally.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
Or take it away.
So again, a stat on this situation, and again, I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers guy, as many of you are aware. In games like he had last Sunday, proven stats is that he usually comes back and he throws 4 touchdowns when he gets beat up like that. So that's like a stat that's been really in the news, in the sports news recently. And I mean, I don't see, and again, it's my survival pick as well. I just don't see how Detroit keeps up.
That's going to be a rough way to lose, Igor, on Monday night. If Detroit takes you out, that's going to be tough.
I mean, it would be a little bit, ironic considering my sometimes my.
And it'll build your hate for Aaron Rodgers forever.
Well, there you go. But you know what? I think Detroit. I think the San Fran. They got really lucky. A couple. George Kittle fumbles that kickoff, and then they were not in the game at all. And I think the Packers have too much offense where I think Devontae Adams is going to eat. I think Jones will recover. I just don't see Detroit being able to keep up at Lambeau. I think they'll probably get blown out by 3 TDs. So I'm taking the Packers, and yes, I'm taking Rodgers to bounce back. And hopefully he shaves and he doesn't look like he's almost 40 years old and all that other stuff. But I'm taking the Packers because I just can't see any other result.
Yeah, I was going to say the stress and that sideline pick, Rob, that you said in our group chat.
Too long.
Man, he's got to do something. He's got the Jesus look going, and he's not playing well with it. Brandon, let's go to you.
I'm taking Detroit against the spread, just like everyone else. ACDC, you guys drink so much coffee. Hey, it's going to be one of those games where I love Aaron Rodgers, of course. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy. Think he's the best thrower of football ever. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm so unprotectable to see exactly or to say that they're going to cover the spread in this game. It's super, super unpredictable. So I'm going to take Detroit against the spread. I think people are really sleeping on Jared Goff. That comeback late in the game, he still was orchestrating. He was slinging the ball. So, hey, if he keeps that up, if the guys try to start getting open, TJ Hawkins is going to have another big game. I take Detroit Lions against the spread. Yeah,
that's a good point. I love Hawkins there. And obviously Stafford, I thought was a massive upgrade there. And I'm not a Goff guy. Now, has he been as bad as he's shown in his career? I don't think so. But maybe he has something working there with Detroit. And Detroit has one of the best offensive lines in the league. They've never really had a running game. And I think that's been detrimental to them since Barry Sanders has been there. They've never had a running back. I have to take Detroit here because I don't see any way really that a division game Monday night. Detroit probably thinks, hey, guys, we should have won last week, even though they shouldn't have. They were very close to winning. Let's go out there, take advantage of a Green Bay team that is in the dumps. And they're going to have some motivation with some horrible coaching. But I think that, a defense there might be a little bit better this week. And like I said, that old line and Goff, I think that they're going to cover the spread. And who knows? Igor, I really hope you don't go into Survivor because those are the roughest ones to lose when you take a double-digit spread. But it does happen every year. We're just not every double-digit team is going to end up winning. That's what happens.
Well,
but go ahead.
Again, I swear, if I lose the Survivor pool again, I'm gonna
You're gonna be burning his jersey.
I'm on Rodgers going 0-2 to start the year.
If the Packers lose this game, you will not hear a good thing. And all news will be just about if the Packers lose this game, it will be the worst thing to ever happen. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be terrible. They're gonna be saying all these. It's gonna be the entire week. Burn down everything.
It's almost like a Ben Simmons situation, what's going on there over there, because that he wants out so bad. And there's suitors maybe, but they also don't want to trade him. It's not a good look. Brandon, I think that next week when we do our show, we're going to be talking a lot about Aaron Rodgers. Guys, that wraps up every pick. What I want to do now, maybe I'll give everybody 30 seconds. I'll do mine first because I have them circled. We're getting to our 5 picks that we really like this week. So you guys want to take a second? I'll get into mine. My 5 picks for the week. I'm going to go Chargers by the 3.5. I really like that one. I'm going to take Philly plus the 3 because I'm a big fan of Philly there. Like I said, I think that they might end up winning this game. Miami, I want to capitalize on that home field advantage for Miami and that humidity. I think that Miami comes out, and I think that Buffalo could find themselves 0-2 this season, which is going to be a lot of people did not expect that, obviously. And then with the last pick, I'm going to go with Detroit plus the 11.5. I think that they're going to cover that spread there. So I'll just write this down for me. I'm going to go Detroit plus the 11, Chargers by the 3.5, Philly plus the 3, and Miami plus the 4.
Oh my God!
I'm not sure if anybody's ready. Rob, are you ready to go with your 5?
Sure, I'll go. But just before I go, that Detroit Green Bay game, you have to choose between whether you trust Aaron Rodgers or the Detroit Lions. Like, you want to talk about rock and hard place. Anyway, I'm not a huge fan of my picks this week just because I think I hate laying points. I'm a big take the dog guy, but I'll go with KC. It's too small a number. I'm going to go with Chicago on the bounce back. I'm going to take Buffalo on the bounce back, but although you're really worrying me on this one, Joe, I'm going to take Carolina as a dog. And just because they're a dog, I'm taking Dallas to upset. And I was so strong on it, I cannot go away from it. I can't be yellow and get away from that Dallas pick.
Okay, Brandon, you're fine.
Yeah, it's very similar to what Rob has, but I'm taking Kansas City. Definitely the 3.5 for sure. I'm taking Dallas as well. I think that's a really big mistake by Vegas to actually give them to not be favorites. I don't know why they would do that. But anyways, I'm taking Dallas there. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals, of course, to those 3.5 points. Which I said before, I'm a really big fan of that. I'm going to take Cincinnati. Not biased. I just think Cincinnati's actually going to do something there and actually cover the spread. And last but not least, I'm going to take the Cleveland. No, I'm not taking the Cleveland. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills as a bounce back game right there in 3.5 points.
All right, Igor, you're 5.
So my 5 is going to be I'm going to take Buffalo by the 4 points. Going to go with San Fran with the +3.
-3.
Sorry. Oh, was it? Sorry. Was that -3?
San Fran -3. Yeah.
-3. Sorry. And Buffalo -4.
-4.
Sorry. I'm also going to go with New Orleans -4. And then I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys +3.5, and the Kansas City Chiefs and the 4.5.
All right, so I'm just gonna give you guys the picks one more time. So Igor has Buffalo, San Fran, New Orleans, Dallas, Kansas City. Rob's going with Chicago, Kansas City, Buffalo, Carolina, and Dallas. Brandon's got Kansas City, Dallas, Arizona, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. And then I had Detroit, the Chargers, Philly, Miami, and drawing a blank here. Who was the other one that I took?
Yeah, I think the Titans. Take the Titans.
I think you only gave 4, Joe.
Did I only give 4?
Yeah,
I think you only gave
I only
4.
wrote down 4. I'll go with Tennessee plus the 6 because, like I said, I think that they're going to, worst case scenario, cover this game. Just to fit the shirt that I got. I've got to ride with my guys. Guys, it's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll get together again on Tuesday, and we'll go through what ended up happening, and then we'll get back. We'll try and do maybe a Tuesday, Saturday schedule for the pod. So thanks again, guys, for doing this. We will chat next week, and everybody who is betting, good luck on your picks. Have a great week.